Welcome, everyone. My name is Jackie, and it is my honor to guide you today through a restorative yoga practice. I invite you to find space in your home that you can create a comfortable nest of rest in. Preferable that the space is dark, warm, making sure that you bring with you the props that you need for practice. So for today, I ask you to please have a chair. It could be a kitchen chair, and we're turning that chair upside down. So the legs are going to be facing away from you. So before we begin, just having that ready to go so that you're not having to get up and adjust it through the practice. As well, surround yourself with some bed pillows, as many as you can collect, 3 or 4, some toss cushions, as well as rolled up towels, a hand towel to cover up the eyes, as much as you need to help yourself be comfortable. Of course, we need blankets as well to add to your collection. And dressing in nice, warm, comfy clothes, long sleeve socks, whatever you can wear to make sure that when you are lying in stillness, you are warm, so that you're not brought up and back out of the posture by that sensation of being chilled. There's some music playing in the background. It's soft, and this practice is soft. It is restorative, restful in nature. So moving quietly and with ease as we transition between postures, and simply taking the time to just be. This is a feeling practice, not a thinking practice. So coming with me for the next 60 minutes on our restorative yoga journey here today. Beginning seated on the floor, coming to a comfortable Sukhasana position or a cross-legged position. You'll find here the body will let you know what supports you require. So if low back is bothersome, bringing your hips up onto a folded blanket always feels way more supported, as well as the outside hip flexors can sometimes keep those knees quite highly lifted. I invite you to bring a rolled up towel or a rolled up blanket to support underneath the thighs as deeply as you need to, so you're not feeling any strain on the inner groins. We're just going to move through some opening stretches and some breath work before we begin. So from this nice, comfortable seated position, we'll extend our fingertips off to the side as we turn the palms to face the sky and take a nice big inhale as we sweep the arms wide, reaching those fingertips away, making space through the shoulder and the armpit. Take the gaze up to your thumbs, allow the palms to come together, fingers are closed, and on the exhale, drawing hands down and in through heart center. We'll do it again this way. Inhale, reaching those hands, sweeping up. And then exhaling to draw our hands down and through heart center. Again this way. Final time. Inhale to sweep up, reach up. And exhale to draw the hands down and through heart center. From here, taking a nice gentle twist, guiding your left hand behind your back. Right hand comes to the outside of that left thigh. Taking a nice big inhale to lengthen the crown of your head up. And then on the exhale, taking a nice gentle stretch to the left. This feels as though we are leading the heart towards that left side. Allow the gaze to come over that left shoulder as your neck allows. And as you breathe, just become aware of the sensations in the rib cage. So that left shoulder blade sliding further onto the back towards the spine. One more breath. And then very gently, coming back through center, we unwind and we change sides. Right hand comes behind the back. We're using it as a kickstand to keep the spine nice and long. Left hand to the outside of right thigh. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to deepen your twist. And just noticing the restriction in the breath in through the abdomen so that those ribs have to open just a little bit more to help you breathe and guide you in just a little bit deeper into the stretch. Relax your legs, one more breath. And then with your next inhale, slowly coming back through center. We're going to change our legs here. So if your right shin is in front like mine, you're going to bring it behind. If the left shin is in front, you're going to bring that behind. So coming into the uncomfortable seated position version. So the left leg comes in front for me. And in this opposite location, coming through a nice side bend. So we're gonna extend our right fingertips off to the right side, and then we're gonna walk them away from our hip. And as we walk wide, you start to feel this not long length come into the side of the body here. We're gonna plant the right hand, keeping that side body long, and then mindfully rooting that left hip down to the floor. We're gonna reach our left fingertips up to the sky, feel a little more length here, and then on the exhale, turn the palm to face your ear and reach the left arm overhead. Inhaling to lengthen, so reaching the fingertips away from that left hip, and then see if you can breathe into that left side body, into the rib cage. Feeling that sensation of rainbowing the ribs off to the left. Gaze comes up and under the arm as your neck allows. Keep pressing into the right hand just to help that left hip land on the floor. One more breath here. And then very gently, we're just gonna float ourselves up using the side body to help us rise, walk those fingers, and then move to the left. So walking those left fingers along the floor, begin to feel the length arrive in that side body. Reach those right fingertips up, plant the left hand, and then turning that right palm down towards the floor, floating that right arm over, and coming into your side body stretch. So allow your gaze to come up and under the arm. Allow your right sit bone to land towards the floor. Side body opens up. Breathe into those ribs. Feel that sensation of expansion with breath. Take one more here. And then with your next inhale, slowly floating up, finding your way into seated once again. From here, we are finding our way into our first restorative yoga posture. So we're gonna come onto our mat, and I'm gonna bring the props with me to show you this first pose. So it's called a basic relaxation pose, and I like to begin all of my restorative practices in this posture. So you want to come to the middle of your mat, bringing bed pillows across the end of the mat. So I have 3 here today. It really depends on how long your legs are, how many pillows you need to stack for this part of the practice. I've got 3, I have 2 fairly firm pillows. This is gonna support my legs. I need a rolled up blanket on the opposite side to support my ankles. So if you bring any blanket that you have on hand into a folded position and then roll it up and then just place it where the ankles are going to land. This is going to support the Achilles. We also need a blanket for behind our head. You can also use a pillow if you need a little more support. So I'm going to place that there so it's ready for me. And then you're also going to want an eye covering, so something to go over the eyes once we get ourselves into position. And then we also need something for underneath the arms and the elbows. If you're lying on a carpeted surface, you're probably okay. I'm going to bring with me 2 toss cushions so that there is some support and a lift in the wrist. So I will bring those over now. It'll be easier for you to see the pillows on this side, so I'm going to worry about this side as I'm showing you, but I will definitely bring this one with me too. So from there, we're going to come to sit beside these stacked cushions and help yourself to get the legs over top. We also need a blanket, to cover up when we lie down. So have that ready to go as well. Not searching for things afterwards. Okay, so here we are. I'm gonna lean back with that right hand. I'm gonna help myself get these legs up and over the stack of pillows and then shift my hips to adjust. So the middle of your knees should come to the center of that stack, and then the ankles are gonna land on the blanket. So nothing is resting on the floor. We are completely supported here. I'd like you to begin with the blanket already in place. So that way as we lie down, we don't have to sit back up to readjust. So cover up your feet. Even lift the feet up and catch that edge of blanket underneath the feet so the blanket doesn't travel. Cover up your legs and even tuck those legs in. It gives you a little bit of added support to hold the legs together, and then find your way back onto your mat. As you come back, just take your time to sink in and adjust. So feel into the hips and the low back. That'll give you an idea of that, if that's comfortable or not, or if you need to add an extra blanket underneath the hips just to help you settle into place. We are looking for comfort here, so whatever you need to do. Then you're going to bring the blanket that is underneath your head and create a nest here. So you want to be able to roll it up and under the neck. You fill in that gap, that space where the natural cervical spine is, that little bit of curve. And then taking each of the outside edges, you're going to scoop it in and under to create this little halo all the way around the head. We want the forehead just lifted enough that you're creating sort of a downward angle from the forehead to the nose. Once you have that, it should feel incredibly comfortable. From here, check with those pillows that you have available for the arms or the blankets. Open the arms up wide and feel that little bit of a lift in through the wrist. So the wrist is above the elbow. It can be a tiny lift. It doesn't have to be as big as my cushions here, but just enough that the wrists are totally softened and effortless. If that's in the perfect place, if you've landed, it all feels good, take a hold of your eye wrap, your eye pillow. So I'm just using a hand towel here today. I'm just going to fold it and then place it over the forehead and the eyes. For an extra little bit of comfort, you would lift the head slightly and then wrap the towel around in and behind the head before placing it back down. Getting it nice and taut, that little bit of pressure against the outside of the eyes as well as the forehead is very relaxing and soothing. And then take one last moment to scan, making sure there's not too much pressure on the toes with the blanket. And then we softly begin to arrive. So in this place, we begin to notice our breath. And without trying to change it, just see it for what it is. Can you feel the gentle rise and fall of the chest? Maybe there's some breath in your belly. And maybe noticing some of the breath in the back of the body. Or maybe only feeling the breath in the front. From that place of noticing, we begin to intentionally breathe by drawing in some longer inhales in through your nose, just allowing some longer exhales to arrive out of your nose. Feeling into the sensation of breath here. Can you feel the inhale gently touching the back of your throat? And can you notice your exhale gently touching the upper lip with warmth? As you deepen that breath just a little bit more, notice that the ribs can expand with space. Notice the belly button rising away from the spine with the inhale, and maybe begin to feel on the exhale that belly button drops in and sinks towards your spine. Begin to feel that softness that arrives with your exhale. Let it be a melting, a relaxing, a releasing of resistance. So your arms become heavy. So your legs become heavy. Let there be a space in between your teeth and let your tongue fall away from the roof of your mouth. Let your forehead smooth. Let your ears drop towards the floor. Let everything soften to center. In this stillness, in this place of rest, we move within. So allow your awareness to come to heart center. And then imagine dropping in behind that heart center. within. And quietly listening here, sensing, noticing. And without concern or allowing your attention to be drawn away, just notice and observe all that is happening from within. As we breathe in the stillness and the safety of this space held just for you. There is nowhere to go, there is nothing to do. Just simply breathe and be. Bringing a soft awareness to your breath. And just taking a moment to scan the body, going into the crown of your head, and then just following the awareness down to the back of your neck. Just imagining you can travel along the spine, going into each vertebrae and noticing how one follows the other, as though we are drawing a line of alignment, creating a stacking and a wellness as we go. Using our exhales to soften any tightness, coming all the way to mid-back and low back. The hips be very heavy once again. Feel your legs supported by the pillows beneath. Just notice how soft and relaxed the feet are. Allow your mind's eye to feel your hands and feel the palms of your hands without moving them. And then feel into your fingers and your thumbs and notice how completely relaxed and just softly curled in they are. They are effortless here. From this place, find a little bit of movement once again. So just maybe begin to wiggle those fingers even if they feel like they don't want to. And wiggle your toes. And know that if you are happy in this posture, there is no need to continue and move on. Stay. But if you'd like to transition with me, just allow yourself now to turn the palms down towards the pillows. We're going to bend into the knees and let the soles of our feet rest on the stack of pillows. You can leave your blanket on or remove it. I'm just going to remove mine so you can see. From this place, just bringing the arms now alongside body, palms facing the floor. We're going to bring our belly button towards the spine and allow that low back to press down into the mat. We want to lengthen through the spine here. And then just gently soften that press. And so it almost feels like the tailbone's coming closer to the floor. Again, inhaling to bring belly button to spine, low back to mat. You're eliminating that space between your spine and the floor. And then gently releasing that pressure. We'll do this one more time, guiding belly button to spine, low back to mat, hold for a moment. And then from there, if it feels good, drawing the knees in towards the body. You can comfortably do so, hands coming to shins or hands coming behind the thighs. Just a little bit of gentle pressure. Give yourself a little squeeze. And then gently rolling over onto your right side. Extend the right arm out. And we're just going to pause on our right side for a moment. So take the time to place your head on the pillow or bring the right arm up to draw it in and use it as a pillow. Just feel that sense of calm within. And then very gently, we'll press up to seated so we can transition into our next posture. So the left hand's going to press you up, use the right to find your way, and then come on to those sit bones once again. So from here, we are moving into a supported side bend. The stacked pillows are already ready to go. You just may want to maybe take away one or two of the pillows, depending on your flexibility through the rib cage. I would invite you to bring a blanket to place under your hips here. We will be resting on the left hip to begin. So bringing a blanket folded up, or even a pillow, if that would be easier for you, to come underneath the hip and folding it up, and then just placing it there so that you're able to sit upon it. As we come over and on, so just lifting up to come on, we're going to bring our legs into a pinwheel shape. So bending into the knees, have your left thigh parallel to your stack, and then bend into the opposite knee and have that leg out as well. So you have options here. If this does not feel good, we will be resting on that left hip, right hip will lift. You can place a pillow underneath, in between. Just have your props ready so you can support yourself and bring comfort into this posture. On the opposite side of our pillow stack, we have options. So you can either bring a cushion for your head, or if you have lots of flexibility, you only need to have your arm to rest on. Your upper arm is going to come over, and it is comfortable to have that upper arm resting on a pillow. So I'm going to show you that adjustment, that variation. And I'm going to use my rolled up pillow for any extra added comfort when we get there. Once again, we need a pillow for covering up, so take the time to get comfortable. Bring your eye pillow with you and have it ready to place over the eyes, even over your head like a little tent, if that would suit you here. So from there, I'll just set my blanket off to the side. We're going to reach our left hand, bring it over the pillow stack, and you want to have this pillow stack nice and tight in. It's going to support under the rib cage as though it's coming in at the waistline to begin. Supporting underneath, we're going to walk that hand over, place it out just a little bit further. And as we walk the hand out, we lengthen, so we bring it out straight, so that as we come down, we're able then to rest the head on the arm. So you're going to get quite a bit of a side body opening here. We are dropping this right hip away from our shoulder, so the ribs are rainbowing up. Pillow from my legs. So just see if this is okay for you here. Notice the right fingertips are going to reach up, the palm is then going to face the floor, and we're just going to reach this hand over. So we get a nice lengthening here. It's from here you need to adjust. So we're here for at least a couple of minutes. So making sure that you can comfortably rest in stillness. So what do you need? Notice and adjust. Bring some support underneath the head to lift that head up a little bit so that this is not such a reaching feeling for your neck. Notice with your arm, if this is a lot or too much, you can always bring that arm down alongside body or in front. You want to feel the shoulders stacking and as though the ribcage is rolling back and just slightly, get a little more deeply into this space between that last rib and hip. You're opening up the space where the kidneys live and giving room for the organs to breathe. So just feeling into this space. If you have even more room, you could extend that top leg just a little bit to get a little more into the hip. So just listen to your body here. What does it need? Into this soft opening, we breathe. Bringing the eye cushion, the eye cover, sorry, not the eye cushion. Unless you have an eye pillow, you could certainly use an eye pillow. Just bring your eye covering over so that you can just softly rest here. Covered up by the blanket, and when you are ready, dropping in. Feel into your right side body. Notice how it has to open to accommodate the breath. Feel as though you are pressing that right side body up towards the sky. On the inhale, and with your exhale, get long through the crown of the head and the tailbone. Let your right upper leg become very heavy. See if with every exhale you can make the space arise. In mind's eye, imagine inhaling into those spaces that feel a little bit tight. And then use the exhales to just completely soften that space. Like an explorer moving inside of the body to notice and see and hear and feel. Can you let go of something here? Resting quietly, moving within. Breathe. Taking one more round of breath here. Just notice on the exhale if you can just soften a little more the ribs and letting that hip move away. You allow length to arrive through the body. And then very gently, beginning by moving the top right hand, just bringing it in front of you where the pillows are, just to help you rise up and press up to seated. Making this a very gentle and slow transition, just allowing your back to face the cushions as you bring the knees forward. And simply shifting to the other side. So allowing now the knees to fall to the right, pinwheeling the legs, coming up onto that right hip this time, from the back angle. And now tucking in again with the pillows. And so noticing if it's not enough of an opening through the left side body, you can bring an extra pillow or maybe take a pillow away. Having had experience now with the support on the floor, just see if you need to give yourself more support underneath your head. We'll extend the right arm long, walk it away. And as we walk it away and land, see how it feels. And if you're going to be able to hold some stillness here. And if this is feeling comfortable, adjusting the other pillow so that as you reach the left arm overhead, turning the palm to face down, you have something to soften to. And it should feel as though it is softening. Bring the chin towards the chest just slightly to keep the neck long. And again, if it's more comfortable to bend into the elbow, bend into the elbow. See if you can move that left hip away, cover up with your blanket, cover your eyes. And breathe into your left side body now. Breathe into the pleasantness of the feeling of just a subtle stretch here. The awareness of the hip moving away from the shoulder. And even that sensation of the left toes moving away from the left fingers. Allow the crown of the head to rainbow away from the tailbone as the ribs rise up through left side body. Breathing into the edge of those intercostal muscles. And that resistance the breath meets there. Exploring with sensational awareness. So we listen and move within. Becoming aware of your breath once again. And just noticing how there's an edge to its depth. And then very gently, once again, we are going to transition. So allowing the left hand to come forward of the body onto the pillows and slowly press yourself up to rise, taking your time. And then as you come to your sit bones, just turning forward with the pillows facing behind you. As we come into our next posture together. So we're actually going to turn and face those pillows and bring ourselves into a seated forward fold. We're going to use the pillows that we have on the mat to help us here, but thinking about the blanket that's beneath you, if you know that your low back is tight or your hamstrings are tight, you want to lift those hips up as much as you need to make this posture comfortable. So maybe today, or maybe in today's practice, just lifting up with 2 blankets folded to just give yourself a little bit of extra height. So I'm going to demonstrate with 2 blankets folded beneath my hips. What you'll see is it gives me a little bit of a tilt through that pelvis so that you're able to then comfortably sit forward and extend the legs out in front. From here, you'll notice whether the legs are comfortable extended in straight, or if you would also need some support underneath. And I always suggest a little bit of support underneath. It just feels good, so why not? So bring one of your pillows underneath to give a lift through the knees. So fairly close to the thighs to give you that little extra lift. From here, we're gonna bring pillows across our lap into our abdomen. And then bringing as many as you need to make yourself fill that space as we fold forward. So just test it and see if that feels good. If there's enough room that you've got a nice rounding through the back, let me turn sideways so you can see there. Then that is where we'll stay. And then I'd like you to bring a couple of cushions to support your hands here. So for your forehead and your hands, if we can rest the forehead down on a stack and then allow the hands to find their place comfortably, that is ideal. So depending on your configurations, find what works. You can even add an extra blanket here. Let me just show you with that. So that it brings sort of everything together, tucking it in and giving me somewhere to rest and go with this. The next thing would be warmth. So if you'd like to bring a blanket around the back like a cape and then put it up and over the head to create that lovely little cocoon, I invite you to do so. So again, hands resting, shoulders softening, elbows reaching down, forehead resting onto your pillows. And softening here. So supported forward fold. Feel the sit bones connect to the floor. Feel the support beneath your belly and the front of your chest. Feel the spine long. Feel the shoulder blades soften away from the spine. Imagine breathing into low back, expanding that space. And then let the breath travel up further into the ribs and the back of your body. And expand the back ribs with breath. And as you breathe into these spaces, expanding them and making room for everything to flow freely. And then dropping in to see what that looks like from the inside. Let it all just simply be. Now bring your awareness once again into the spine. Feel the crown of your head move away from your tailbone. Go into all of those spaces that run beside the spine, the muscles. And use your exhales to soften those spaces. Feel the safety in this posture. So you're in that space like a turtle and turned inward and protected from the world. And take that feeling of safety as we move and begin once again to transition. So slowly finding your way back to a nice tall spine, just pulling that belly button in towards the spine to bend into the knees a little bit more as we rise up. Releasing this assortment of support from the front of the body, just placing it off the side. And then we're going to lean back for a moment. So just place your hands behind you onto the floor, bending into the knees and not having to move anything. Just let those knees float to the right, float to the left, just releasing any tension here that may have found its way in. And then from there, we're going to come into a small supported back bend. So using some of this pillow propping to create a long bolster down the center of your mat. So I'm going to use two. So placing two pillows together on the floor. And if you could make them of equal sort of density, that is the preference. And I'm going to wrap a blanket around them to give them a little more stability, or more of that sensation of them being a nice support, firm support beneath me. And then at this end of my makeshift bolster, I'm going to place a blanket for my head and my shoulders. So I would like my shoulders to come to the floor. If this becomes too much of an opening, placing a pillow beneath that space is also an awesome way to come into the posture. We want to ease ourselves into back bends just a little bit. So we're going to come to sit on this bolster. So we want to, I'm going to bring my legs towards you here. We're going to sit and then we're going to straddle the bolster. So we want the body to remain on the bolster and just the edge of our shoulders to come off of it onto the floor. So at the bottom edge of where your shoulder blade is where we sort of rainbow off of that edge. Have your blankets ready. I'd like you to bring them and wrap them around your legs. So I'm going to use this pillow actually, or this blanket. So again, I want you to be warm. The legs are going to stay bent and in constructive rest here. So bring the blanket up and around and tuck it under the legs. So it's going to help you to keep the knees together. And then from here, we're going to shift back. So use your hands, adjust as you need to, and just sort of approximate how you're going to land there on the floor. So shifting as you need to. So shimmying back, bring the feet with you. Keeping the feet wide and the knees together. Let the shoulders land on the floor. So you're going to know if this is too much of an opening for the back. If so, sliding the blanket under the shoulders is great, or bringing an extra pillow for that space. I'm going to come back to my landing point. So shoulders on the floor, that blanket's just resting underneath my head for comfort. You can bring the edge up and under the neck if that would feel good. And then we're going to extend those arms out wide and onto the floor. So once again, this is a place where you could bring a cushion for underneath the wrist, or it can just be something as small as a folded towel for underneath both of the wrists there. So you just have that nice, comfortable, relaxed place for the wrist. It's always ideal to have both hands supported equally. So try to find something that has the same feeling on each side, because you will notice if it's otherwise not the same. Allow your chin to be turned towards the chest just slightly, and then soften onto the flattest part of your skull here. As the knees rest together in this supported back bend, our heart is opening. So feel the breath open the front of the body. Feel the ribs rise, open, and widely reach out. So you're really feeling a flaring through this bottom rib cage. That's how you know you're in the right spot. So as you close your eyes, so covering up the eyes with your eye pillow if you have it available, your eye covering. Imagine like a gigantic balloon. Every time you take a breath, you are making space in through the abdomen, the chest, the ribs. We are inhaling possibilities here, making room for joy. And as you exhale, imagine everything drawing down and into center as we eliminate and let go of fear and resistance, sending it out through the soles of our feet. Inhaling to bring space, and exhaling to let go of all that does not allow us that space. And as we move within, feeling that vulnerability that comes with that openness through the arms, and embracing that feeling of openness. It is always within, we are never without. We just need to pause and to listen. Bring your awareness here to your legs. Letting your knees rest against each other completely and without effort. Notice if you can feel that sensation of drawing the tops of your shoulders down towards the floor, as though you can will them to find their way. Just notice how that brings a little more of an opening in through the front of your shoulders and the collarbones. They almost lengthen with intention. The last few breaths here. Feeling into the spine as it's moving in the opposite direction to the way in which we move through life quite often. Rounded forward. This shifts the alignment. So allowing that to arise. Take one more round of breath here. Perhaps deepening, expanding your ribs and into the belly with breath. Find that very top edge of feeling full of breath. Pause and notice what it feels like before allowing your exhale to come. Everything drawing down and into heart center and just releasing into the floor once again. And then from here, just allowing the knees to come wide, walking those feet a little closer together. We're going to roll over to the right side. So bringing the left leg with you as you roll over to the right. Take your time to roll off of the pillows, coming to rest on that right side once again, bending into the elbow, coming into the fetal position. Taking just a couple of breaths here. And then when you're ready, we'll press up to seated slowly with minimal effort. Move into one final posture here today in our practice. And so from here, we're going to move into legs up the chair. And so this is why we have that chair upside down. So we want to bring it a little bit closer to our practice area. So just drawing it in and over. We're going to use the pillows and the blanket in combination to create a long surface for us to place our legs up and on. So because you already have the pillows with the blanket wrapped around, bring one. I'm just going to undo that and then bring the other if you want to give an extra support. So again, it depends very much on how firm your pillows are, and having that blanket wrapped around is just making a little bit of an extra amount of support to the pillows, a little bit of extra firmness. So wrapping the blanket around, do that in a far more tighter way so I demonstrate appropriately for you. And so with that blanket wrapped around, I have a nice firm surface here. I want to have a blanket to cover myself up, and then an eye covering available. I want a blanket for our head, and then we also want 2 cushions for the arms to rest upon. So if you have range of motion through the shoulders, or even if you don't have a lot, the cushions up and behind the arms are going to give you that range of motion. So we'll end up with our arms just above our heads, elbows bent. So on either side, having that prepared. It also is probably a nice thing to have a blanket under your hips, folded. And just support that lower lumbar just a little bit by lifting the hips up. And then in covering the body with the blanket, it's going to give some firmness to the legs here. So having everything ready to go, I'll meet you down there. So coming to sit side saddle on the floor before we put our legs up. I'm going to swing to the right this time. I'm actually going to bring that blanket around my legs to begin, so that when I come up, they're already ready to go and wrapped up. So if I wrap around the legs, so sort of fold them over and in, I'm going to fold this just to show you what I'm doing, so that I'm coming under and creating this wrapping. And then from there, because it's fairly firmly wrapped in, I'm just going to twist and bring my legs up and onto the surface. Ideally, your chair is resting against a wall, maybe, so you don't get any slippage, or if you have it on a yoga mat, it should be fine. So with the legs up, I'm then going to lay my body back down. So upper body's coming down onto the floor, and then make your adjustments from there. So feel that you can tuck in the blanket once again from below. So you want to feel as though the legs are comfortably resting, and then turning the toes towards each other. So you'll have a little bit of internal rotation. It's going to quiet the hips quite nicely for you. Feel into your low back. So adjust that blanket so that there is no discomfort in through the hips. Everything feels good. And then adjusting these pillows for your arms. You've got your eye covering ready to go. Well, first to float the arms up towards those pillows. So feeling and noticing what you need here. And so depending on how your shoulders are, there's going to be a natural resting place for you that feels so good. Once you have those in place, bring your eye pillow to cover the eyes. And just one thing to note here with these pillows, you want to have the wrists supported. So you don't want those wrists hanging back off of the pillows. That's going to bother the hands with blood pressure. You're going to feel too much in the hands as you rest. So bringing support underneath the wrists. So maybe long bed pillows would feel better for you here. If you don't need the pillows, you can bring the arms all the way onto the floor, but the pillows definitely make it softer. And so notice if everything feels good and comfortable and soft. And then simply drop into stillness. Our legs up and supported here. We are allowing that circulation, the lymph to drain into the body. We're also allowing the energy to come all the way down and into our center, our being. You're filling our buckets here. You're melting into relaxation and release. There's no effort in your legs. There's no effort in your arms. As we inhale the sky above and allow the earth below to support us. Give yourself permission to rest, to simply be. And as monkey mind may begin to travel, allow your awareness to travel into heart center, that very space behind your sternum, dropping into the very middle of you. And imagine that with every inhale, the light that lives in that space like a candlelight glowing grows brighter and warmer with every breath. Allow your exhales to spread the light within. Fill yourself to the toes, to the fingertips, to the crown of your head. Feel this light, see the light. And in this moment, just simply be that light. I breathe in all that is, awareness expanding to take everything in, as if my heart beats the world into being. From the unnamed vastness beneath the mind, I breathe my whole way into wholeness and healing. Inhalation, exhalation. Each breath a yes and a letting go. A journey and a coming home. And with these words, I gently bring you back to the surface. And you, of course, in this practice are more than welcome to stay exactly as you are to finish and be as long as you need to be. If you would like to come with me now to close the class, I would invite you to first bring the arms down and alongside the body. Take a breath there with arms reaching along the floor. And then bending into each knee, just let the feet rest against the pillows for a moment. Feel that pressure, that completeness with belly button to spine, low back to mat. Feel the spine lengthen once again. And then from there, we'll roll over to the left side, allowing the left arm to come off to the side, placing the feet beyond the chair and the pillows so you can roll over onto your left side. And just take a couple of breaths here. This gives us the opportunity one final time to just feel that sense of calm that you have cultivated within. I want you to remember this feeling and take it with you and recall it as you need it. And then when you are ready, pressing up to seated, just using your right hand to help you rise. And then we'll come to just a nice, comfortable seated position one final time on our mat. So if you can find an easy Sukhasana, we'll extend our fingertips off to the side, turn the palms to face the sky to inhale, sweep up, reach up. One final time, gathering all of that amazing red energy that you have surrounded yourself with here, allowing your palms to close together at the top and then guiding your hands down and through heart center. We have captured that energy and we deliver it into heart center. We bow our chin to our chest as we pause for a moment of gratitude for yourself for making time to practice your yoga today. And I thank you so much for the privilege of guiding you. From my heart to yours, everyone, namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I invite you to practice restorative yoga at least once during the week, maybe a couple of times. It is a wonderful practice to bring ease and relaxation through your day.